I learned the hard way that freedom is precious and rare, and we have to fight for it. Today, the fight for freedom is not on a battlefield overseas. Now the fight to preserve the fundamental things that make us Americans will be won or lost here at home. You and I face a generational crisis. Will we cherish our freedoms? Or will we submit to a government that tells us how to live, what to drive, who to worship, and what to think?
Sean Parnell, Republican running for the United States Senate in Pennsylvania. That was quite an ad. However, you did gloss over your Afghanistan experience. You hint at it, but you were seriously wounded over there. And anyway, Sean Parnell, welcome back to Newsmax. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, Greg. Thanks for having me.
You bet. And look, is this a bit of a blessing in disguise? You ran for the House of Representatives, barely lost, we think, to Connor Lamb. You could be a congressman right now. If you were a member of the Congress, you would not be running for the Senate. What's going on in your head right now?
Well, I think, the fight for freedom, Greg, is not going to happen on a foreign battlefield. As you know, and I know you served as well. I was in Afghanistan for 485 days. 85% of my platoon was wounded, some twice, some three times. I was wounded myself. We know, if you've raised your right hand to serve this country, we know how precious and rare freedom truly is. But again, the fight for freedom in 2021 going into 2022 is not going to happen on a foreign battlefield. It's going to happen right here at home. If you look at what's happening right now in this country, our taxes are rising, our debt and deficit is soaring, our border is flooded, there's a crisis in the Middle East, our energy industry here in Pennsylvania is being absolutely crushed. The First Amendment is under attack. The Second Amendment is too. You look at the Democrats' agenda, they talk about packing the Supreme Court. They're talking about nuking the filibuster, which would remove any dissent in the Senate from a minority voice. They're talking about Washington, D.C. statehood, which would give the Democrats a permanent majority in the United States Senate. Greg, we have to stop them right here and right now. And ultimately, that's why I'm running for Senate in Pennsylvania, to protect and preserve the American dream and our way of life, because it's worth defending.
So look, I'll say this. I think there was a silver lining. Again, if you won that House seat, look, you'll have much greater influence potentially if you win this thing as a United States Senator. How can we help? How can people get involved?
Well, I mean, go to parnellforsenate.com. Google right now, if you punch in my name on Google, Sean Parnell, Senate, Pennsylvania, you won't find my website. But if you go to Yahoo, Bing, or DuckDuckGo, it comes up first. So Google is hurting us a little bit when it comes to digital fundraising, but it doesn't matter. We're powering through. We think that they're censoring our website, so don't use them, right? Just punch in our website. If you can, and if you feel inclined, contribute to this movement, because ultimately, Greg, in 2020, we amassed over 45,000 individual donors. This is a campaign that was truly beholden to the people, not to the Republican Party. We certainly weren't afraid to lock horns with the Democrats either. But this is a campaign that has been and will continue to be about the people in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So join our movement, contribute if you're so inclined. We'd love to have you.
Underreported story, incredibly underreported, the 2020 election in Pennsylvania in terms of the constitutionality or lack thereof of how people voted. Can you take us through that? My understanding was there are basically two ways to vote in Pennsylvania: in person and absentee with excuse. That is according to your Constitution. And they totally threw that out and gave people 50 different ways to vote. But you tell us they did not change the Constitution, right?
Correct. I mean, the Pennsylvania Constitution is very clear on how the people of Pennsylvania can vote. And in order to change the time, place, and manner of an election here in Pennsylvania, in other words, Act 77, no excuse absentee ballot laws, you have to do a constitutional amendment. You have to amend the PA Constitution. And that happens, there's three parts to that, right? It's got to be voted on in back-to-back legislative assemblies in the PA General Assembly. It has to be advertised in two separate newspapers in every county in the state for 3 months. And the most important part of this, Greg, is it has to go on the ballot for a referendum so that the people of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania can have a say in our political destiny here in Pennsylvania. So I'm not making a value judgment about mail-in ballots. I think I'd prefer you to vote in person. But this is about the people being denied a voice. They deserve to have a say, and they did not get one. And by the way, for your viewers, the one time that our case was evaluated on the merits in the Commonwealth Court here of Pennsylvania, we won. They found Act 77 to likely be unconstitutional. But unfortunately, it was appealed to the PA Supreme Court, which is a 5-2 Democrat supermajority. Our case went all the way to the Supreme Court. They didn't take the case. We fought to the bitter end. But Greg, that's exactly what this country needs, right? Right now, I believe that America stands on a very thin line between hope and darkness. This country needs fighters, leaders, and warriors, and that's exactly what I am. So someone that's unafraid to stand up to his own political party when they're incorrect, but also somebody that's, that's willing to stand up to the Democrats when they're trying to fundamentally transform this country.
And we know you have a big fan in Donald Trump, former President Trump, and Sean Parnell. He's very much on your side. Thank you very much, Sean. Good luck. Stay in touch, all right?
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me, Greg.
You bet. You bet.